shining a light on the path to feeling better, looking better, and living better. This is Heart Doc VIP, healthy, integrated, and preventive with Dr. Joel Kahn on Empower Radio. Now, here's America's Healthy Heart Doc, Dr. Joel Kahn.
Well, hello. Welcome. Shalom, salam aleichem. Greetings to everybody. Healthy greetings to everybody. Stay tuned. Don't turn this off. If you're watching, it's a half of the Heart Doc VIP podcast on YouTube. It's Facebook Live beaming out. And as I mentioned, at iTunes, EmpowerRadio.com, and other sites, it's the Heart Doc VIP. You know now, V for vegan, I for integrated, V for preventive. Please go over to iTunes, find Heart Doc VIP, subscribe, and give a 5-star rating. Go over to Empower Radio and look around. We're beaming out from the Kahn Center for Cardiac Longevity. This is a clinic I'm proud of. My nurse Jennifer, my wonderful vascular technician Lisa, shout out to them and all the people that help us make this happen, helping people all over the world get healthier, getting younger at heart by design. The Heart Doc VIP. Today, before we delve into some fascinating and maybe controversial information, if you're watching this, you're going to see a glass bottle, brown, so it's not degraded by sunlight, of maca root. I love this product. It has my name on it. I help pick the ingredient, and I say ingredient because there's only one. Organic maca root in a vegetarian capsule. No gelatin capsules. 2 veggie caps supplies 1,000 milligram of organic maca root. What does maca do? Helps with mental alertness, mood, and balance of hormones, made with a natural herb and botanical extract. Maca is a root, M-A-C-A. You can read that if you're seeing this. You can look it up if you're listening to Heart Doc VIP. You can find this particular Dr. Kahn brand of maca root at drjoelkahn.com, drjoelkahn.com under shop, or at the Kahn Center for Cardiac Longevity, which is kahnlongevity.center.com. Try it. It's very high quality, but yet very reasonably priced at under $30. And if you're having problems with energy or hormonal and balancing issues, give it a try. There's a long tradition of centuries of using maca root. If you'll allow me a sense of humor, everybody that has a sense of humor raise their hand because it helps balance hormones. Sometimes in the world of sexual benefits, it is said that it is maca for the caca. Okay, let's go on to science, please. If children are listening, do not repeat that at school. We are going to talk today about an important topic as Heart Month is closing down, and that important topic is your choice of a diet that supports your health. Remember, when humans had to live 30 years, the purpose of being on the planet, according to biology, is to reproduce, create progeny, and be done. So if you're going to live and have children at age 15, 16, 18, 20, and live to age 28 or 30, which was the norm not that long ago, who cared what you ate? You ate what you ate. It wasn't about longevity. It was about progeny and procreation and be fruitful and multiply and then keel over dead. That's the truth. That's why there was no big debate in the past about this. We are living in the most exciting scientific and medical times in the world where we have an opportunity, if we choose to have a chance to live to 80, 90, 100, 110 with vitality, with mental alertness, with joints and hearts and brains and organs and sexual function that work. I get a cute little Facebook comment all the time by a 91-year-old patient of mine when I put anything out about sexual function. Hey, don't count me out. I'm still there, ready and willing and able, and that's awesome. And at 91, and I wish you, Irwin, to 101. But we're going to talk today, since we do have the opportunity to have longevity, to focus on a long lifespan. Now it makes a difference, because if you pack in 30 years on fast food, you still might make it. If you pack in 100 years on fast food, the odds are you're not going to make it. So it matters all of a sudden. Hi, Bonnie, shouting out on Facebook Live. And certainly if you have any comments or questions, if you're viewing this on Facebook Live, where at the Dr. Joel Kahn Facebook page, my personal page or fan page, whatever it's called. where they're changing rules faster than people change their shoes at a red carpet event. But we're back to longevity. So now it matters. Do you eat high carb, high protein, low carb, high fat, low fat? Do you not even use the words, as my friend Ray Crone says, don't use the macronutrient words. Macronutrients are not food groups. Vegetables are food groups. Protein is not a food group. Protein's in a bean and protein's in an animal, so it can't be a food group to say protein. Not to confuse you, it's just true. So it matters now. So let's talk about high-fat diets. Okay, I just broke my rule because I said that's a macronutrient, not a food group. So let's revise my statement because I'm always willing and trying to get better. Let's talk about foods that have a high percentage of calories from fat. Obviously, that includes a lot of the animal products, a chicken, a piece of beef, a piece of lamb, an egg, certainly whole-fat cheese, whole-fat dairy. Those are foods that have a high percentage of calories from fat. There are some plants that have a high percentage of calories from fat, avocados, nuts, seeds, some of the oils, which are extracted from plants. They're not whole foods or processed foods. And we left out olives. I love olives. They're whole foods as opposed to olive oil. So I do want to give a shout out, and I'll put a link below if you're watching this. I actually just published an academic paper in 2018. I've published over 150 of them, but frankly, I was getting a little rusty. It's called Recent Science and Clinical Application of Nutrition to Coronary Heart Disease. I have some awesome co-authors, Dr. Mark Houston, Dr. Deanna Minnick, Dr. Mimi Guarneri, and Dr. Steven Sinatra from all over the United States. And we'll probably go over this extensive and close to, I believe, 20-page paper at some other point. But I put that out for a little street credibility when I talk about nutrition. I care, I read, I learn, I'm open-minded, I change my opinions, I learn new language, and hopefully you do too. So when we talk about fat, I'm going to talk about two pieces of research. Here is an academic paper called, and it's really boring, so please don't shut this off. This was published July 29, 2017. A single day of excessive dietary fat intake and the consequences. The metabolic consequence of binge eating. Okay, picture this. You're normal people. It's breakfast, bacon, eggs, and sausage, and you had a Frappuccino. Has anybody done that? No, I haven't, but you have, perhaps. Number two, you have at lunchtime a Reuben sandwich and a Verner's soda. If you're from Detroit, you know what Verner's is, but a root beer float. Oh, my. And dinner, you have pepperoni pizza, and you pick some fries off your kid's plate. That would be the consequences of a binge eating high in percentage of calories from fat. Because remember, fat's not a food group. Fat is a macronutrient, different term. Well, what happens to your body if you choose to use it or abuse it with that kind of diet in a day? So they took 15 young, healthy adults. They did a oral glucose tolerance test. You know that test. You drink a bottle of 75 grams of glucose called glucola. You do blood work for your glucose and maybe your insulin before, in the middle, and after, usually a 2-hour time span. And you do that, and you do it after a high-fat, high-energy meal where 68% of the calories are attributed to fat for one day. You do that, you measure glucose, insulin, fats, and you do other measurements. So what happens, okay? Fat doesn't matter. You hear it all the time. Eat fat, get thin. You see it on TV. Fat is back, butter's back, fat, bacon, all the stuff. Does it affect your body in just one day? Because you might be wondering, should I be putting butter in my coffee day after day? Should I be adding coconut oil, 82% saturated fat, to my body day after day? But I'll sneak in one. What does it matter? I'll go loose. I'll binge. I'll have a great day of restaurant eating without caution and regard. So I'm going to quote you. One day, a high-fat overfeeding increased the glucose curve by 17%, the insulin release curve by 16%, and here we go, decreased insulin sensitivity by 28%. What's insulin sensitivity? You have a meal, always your blood sugar goes up. Your pancreas senses that. Your pancreas releases insulin into the bloodstream. I'm going to give a quick shout out to Tricia, Susan, Christine, Karen from all over the United States. Whoa, yes, I did just see you at the restaurant. I am a busy man, is a comment from Christine. Started the day in a TV studio, actually, which is why I'm wearing a suit. If you're watching this, if you're listening to this on Heart Doc VIP, thank you. Go over to iTunes and give a 5-star review. Go over to empowerradio.com, please, and give us a shout-out and a subscribe. And I thank you for that. So what's insulin sensitivity? We were releasing insulin from our pancreas, the organ in our abdomen, little cells called beta cells. The insulin circulates. It goes to the cell membrane of the liver, cell membrane of muscle cells. It's supposed to unlock and open passageways so glucose can exit the bloodstream, go into these important organs, feed the brain, feed the liver, feed the muscle, feed the heart, and the blood sugar comes back down to normal. That's insulin sensitivity. Those cells are sensitive to insulin. But what happens if you put your key in the door and you turn, and it's so hard to open the door that it takes a long time? You will not be in your house, and the glucose will not be out of the bloodstream, and you'll have high blood sugar, and you'll coat your nerves, and you coat your brain, and you coat your heart cells, and you coat your hemoglobin cells, so your hemoglobin A1C goes up, which is bad, and prognostically is bad. We talked about that in a previous Heart Doc VIP podcast or PCast. And that is insulin resistance, IR. Insulin sensitivity is when the key just boop and you're open and the glucose is in the cell of the liver and the muscle. So if you eat one meal and binge, insulin sensitivity goes down by 28%. Your door is so heavy you cannot open it to let the glucose out of the blood into the muscle and liver. Not good, boys and girls. One day binge, one day poor choices, one day of insulin resistance. You've started to create a process called glycation, where you're coating all these important tissues like nerves and heart and brain and red blood cells, hemoglobin, with sugar coating. Think of a frosted donut. You know it's not healthy. It's not healthy when your nerves and your heart cells and your muscle cells and your hemoglobin and your red blood cell are coated up. So everybody repeat after me, okay? Repeat after me. YouTube crowd, Heart Doc VIP crowd, Facebook Live crowd. When I have a binge day of foods that have a high fat calorie content, okay? Let's talk chicken, egg, cheese. Let's just talk about those three. Chicken, egg, cheese. I eat a lot of chicken, egg, and cheese today. That's like America, baby, let alone processed stuff out of a vending machine in a gas station. When I eat chicken, egg, and cheese, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I become insulin resistant. I didn't see anything here about Domino's sugar. I didn't say anything here about high fructose corn syrup. I didn't say anything here about adding in maple syrup. I'm talking about chicken, egg, cheese, high percentage of calories from fat. That's science, a single day consequence. If you love journal recitations, that's a journal called Nutrients. The study is out of the UK. Let's see if there's any funding problem. Are these people funded by the Broccoli or Sprout Society of the UK? The answer is no. They have no research budget conflicts. It says it right there on page 8. So it's just honest science. Everybody repeat after me that high-fat diets create insulin resistance, at least when it's coming from animal sources. Because if you create a diet of olives, of avocados, and of walnuts, I believe that will not happen unless you eat so many calories, you gain weight. I am going to take a detour because I'm going to say goodbye to the YouTube crowd in a minute. Anybody watching this on YouTube can finish this at Heart Doc VIP PCast and can go over to iTunes and subscribe, and also go over to Dr. Joel Kahn Facebook page and find the Facebook Live going on right now. It's, of course, recorded for posterity. And we want to say hello to Christina, who is saying she loves these chats, and I love that you are loving these chats. So the detour I wanted to say before I go off, there is a Facebook page and a website called Mastering Diabetes. It is run by a PhD named Cyrus and a individual of great value named Robbie Barbero. They both have type 1 diabetes. They're young. They both have achieved incredible control by eating an extremely high diet of complex carbohydrates, fruits and vegetables, including so much fruit it will shock you, and very, very, very little added fat and no added oils. Check them out because their discussion about ketogenic diets and a 28 or so minute video will blow you away. I will probably add that to the Facebook Live link when I'm done. So I'm going to say goodbye to YouTube. Please don't shut off Heart Doc VIP. Please don't shut off Facebook Live. We got a few more minutes to go here about study 2. Because if you've been listening, remember, where are we? Kahn Center for Cardiac Longevity. Who am I? Dr. Joel Kahn. Who are you? A very faithful and smart listener. What are we doing? Talking about the percentage of calories in the diet from fat and its impact on insulin sensitivity and insulin resistance, chance of developing diabetes, heart disease, longevity. We are talking about 2 studies, and we've completed study 1. A single day, a binge day, it matters. Just like if you've ever binged on alcohol, you know it matters in the morning when you feel like saying hello to your toilet bowl. But now we're saying, how does it feel to your cells, your metabolism, your likelihood of developing glycated or sugar-coated nerves, brain, red blood cell, hemoglobin, heart muscle cells, and the like. Okay, study 2. I don't have it here in front of me. I have it here in my brain because I just wrote an article about it. Just in January 2018 was published, actually that may be wrong, it may be February 2018, was published by the research group out of what's called Physician Committee for Responsible Medicine, PCRM.org, led by Dr. Neal Barnard, MD, a gentleman I am going to see in the next few days on a holistic cruise ship I am lecturing on. And we are, hey, Valentino, how are you? Buonasera, friend. A good friend from anywhere in the world because he works for the airlines and flies around. But we are going to talk for a minute about Dr. Neal Barnard, PCRM, and a new research study. Okay, so there's a buzz everywhere. What do we do about this surge in type 2 diabetes, obesity, prediabetes, elevated blood sugar? What are we going to do about it? Do we eat a diet full of fat, no carb, let's call that for now a ketogenic diet? And there is some buzz in the headlines, but the site getting the most buzz, a group of researchers, have no control group and have what I would call very shaky data. Or do we eat plants without added oil? So what did Dr. Barnard and his group of researchers report just now? They reported, and this matters to you, so listen up right now. They took approximately 100 people, and they gave half of them the instruction, keep eating what you've been eating for 4 months. Don't change your diet. They did all kinds of baseline measures, dietary questionnaires, and they told them, just keep doing what you're doing. We'll keep in touch with you. We're going to repeat this all in 16 weeks, 4 months. Right? The math is right. Everybody say 16 weeks is 4 months. We can agree on that. Lots of disagree on nutrition. That we can agree on. And then they took the other group, and they fed them a diet extremely high in complex carbohydrates, but that's a macronutrient. So they fed them fruits, vegetables, legumes, nuts and seeds, and whole grains. Repeat after me. That's healthy food. They did the same measurements before and after. That diet had only 10% of calories from fat. Repeat after me. That's low fat. 10% of calories from fat is a low-fat diet, not some other BS studies that say 36% is low fat if you follow a study called the Predimed study. 10% of calories from fat is low fat. It also happened to be a low-protein diet because when you eat fruits, vegetables, legumes like peas, beans, and lentils, and whole grains, you are naturally low in protein, which is very good for your health. Listeners, it's very good for your health to eat low protein until late in life when you might want to bump up those beans, those chia seeds, those chlorella, those spirulina, and such. So what did they find during the study? And who are the subjects? Overweight, healthy people that were not diabetic. Overweight. They measured their insulin sensitivity. They measured, let's talk English, the pancreas's ability to make insulin. You should be thankful right now your pancreas is making insulin. They're called your beta cells making insulin. As long as you're not a type 1 diabetic, when you can't be thankful for that, you can hope for medical breakthroughs in the future that help your pancreas and your beta cells start making insulin again. So what did they find? Here we go. 16 weeks, don't change your diet, no difference. You're as insulin sensitive or insulin resistant, being an overweight human being, as you were at the beginning of 16 weeks. What happened when you stop eating animal products? You eat fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and legumes, and you do very sophisticated measurements. This is called a randomized clinical trial This has a control group. They did measures of blood work. They did mathematical modeling. They did very advanced measurements. So insulin sensitivity improved. If you're overweight, you want your insulin sensitivity to improve. So you can just open that door and the glucose goes right in your muscle and your liver. That's what you want. It improved. They showed that cholesterol went down, hemoglobin A1C went down, insulin went down, LDL cholesterol went down, body weight went down, even though they were kept on good calories. So this study, amazing indeed, is one of a series. It's not the first study. Dr. Neal Barnard has done a study of over a year's duration, taking people with actual type 2 diabetes and doing a similar construct. Don't change your diet or follow an American Diabetes Association controlled diet or randomized to a whole food, fruit, vegetable, whole grain, legume, naturally low fat, naturally low protein, naturally high complex carbohydrate diet. And he has found similar things in type 2 diabetics with drops in the measurement of blood sugar resistance and improvements in insulin sensitivity, reversal of diabetes. So it happens in type 2 diabetes, but it's very hopeful because some of you listening right now at Heart Doc VIP, go over to iTunes, please, and give a 5-star review, empowerradio.com from the Kahn Center for Cardiac Longevity. They've shown now that if you're carrying some extra weight around your belly, and you're reading about paleo, reading about Mediterranean, reading about DASH, reading about vegan, reading about whole food, plant-based, no added oil, naturally low in oil, fat diets, that the winner seems to be what Dr. Barnard has shown. So this is important news. We don't want more diabetes. We want less type 2 diabetes. We have a crisis going on. We have up to 100 million type 2 diabetics in the United States alone by the year 2050, which is not so far away. But we can stop that right now. So everybody repeat after me. If I eat of the following 4 food groups, I can improve my insulin resistance and decrease my chance of developing type 2 diabetes. Everybody say after me: fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and legumes. And if you don't smother them in coconut oil, other oils, butter, and lard, you will be naturally low in fat. You'll be naturally high in fiber. You'll be naturally high in vitamins, minerals, and phytonutrients. You'll be naturally low in sugar, and you'll be naturally low in protein. And you'll want to emphasize the legumes more as you get older to bump that protein up, but not at age 30, 40, 50, 60, 65. Wonderful data from Dr. Walter Longo on longevity on that topic. So I think we've covered 2 important studies. 1 day of binging, and we've also talked about 16 weeks of a randomized clinical trial, the impact on insulin sensitivity. This is sophisticated stuff. I'm proud of you for sticking through this with me. So I got asked at Green Space today, Cafe today, Dr. Kahn, I'm 33 years old. I'm healthy. I eat this way you serve in the restaurant. Is oil going to kill me? And I am not a guilt agent. So at age 33, this was a thin woman, looked quite healthy. I said, you know what? You're not the candidate that needs to be super focused and guilt-ridden and neurotic about a little oil here and there. Pick organic extra virgin olive oil, organic canola oil. Don't smother your food in it. It's probably not a big issue because her body weight and other issues looked okay. But if you're overweight, if you're dealing with elevated blood sugar, elevated blood cholesterol, if you're dealing with heart disease, please kick oil in the butt. Don't add added oils to your food. Now, that's not a large percentage of everybody listening, except the issue of overweight is 40% of everybody listening, or at least those in the United States. So I hope you've got the picture. We're going to shut this party down. I think we've covered important issues about your choice. And let me just review again. Macronutrients, fat, protein, carbohydrates. Rather confusing because you do not sit down and eat a plate of protein or carbohydrates or fat unless you're just slicing through coconut oil when you get 100% fat. You're eating food. You're eating fruits, vegetables, whole grains, legumes, and then you might add in animal products, which I'm urging you to do as little as possible or maybe choose not. And if you're eating a completely plant diet, God knows, supplement, get something like a Dr. Joel Fuhrman multivitamin, add a great omega-3 from algae. My favorite right now is Spectrum because it's a high-potency algae-based omega-3 with 550 milligrams of EPA DHA, and you'll be healthy. A little zinc, little iodine, little vitamin D, little K2, little B12, and won't you need chemotherapy, metformin, blood pressure medicine, statins, and Lipitor, Viagra, and Cialis. I'm done. We've had fun. We're here at Heart Doc VIP. We're at the Kahn Center for Cardiac Longevity. We're here at Green Space Cafe. Thank you. Facebook Live, Dr. Joel Kahn, over at YouTube channel Joel Kahn. And most importantly, this is shutting down this podcast. Over and give a review. If you've never visited drjoelkahn.com, please do. There's all the links to all the things I do during my day. Have a great day, a healthy day. The end of Heart Month should be joyful, healthy, and productive for you as we move into March and look forward to spring, summer, and fall 2018, shutting down and saying blessings to all.